So, when I was telling you guys about movies that I was trying to think, it wasn't Police Squad, it was Police Story.
Oh.
Jackie Chan's first
I might have heard of that.
American
I've heard of
entry. That. And that's what I was trying to find.
That's a different
That
movie
one I have
entirely.
heard of.
Oh, because there's a whole reason why. The fighting choreography in the Mortal Kombat movie is just so bad that I needed to watch something by, like, Jackie Chan. I don't know. I've been watching too much Corridor Digital. So, like, when I'm watching these, like, fun, like, stunt scenes and fight scenes, I'm like, this is
Amazing.
awful. It's just awful.
I was close. Tell me I was close.
Okay, you were close.
Thank you.
Hey, I'm Joe.
I'm Ken.
I'm Andrew.
And I'm Dan.
We're the Rewinders podcast, rewinding movies to see if they hold up. And this time, we morph from a lizard into a man while watching Mortal Kombat.
I feel like we need to get the yell clip right here.
Yeah.
Perfect. We don't need to get anything now.
I read somewhere that the dude that did that had no idea what it was for. He recorded the clip.
Yeah.
And then, like, a year went by, and all of a sudden there was a video game that was using it, and a movie, and he's just like, whoa, what the fuck? And I thought it was funny.
Yeah, no, that was an interesting story. I like
Good
that.
stuff.
See, these are the kind of things that could happen to you, Dan, if you could just lend your voice to some of the projects that I'm working on.
Yeah, your projects are all shit.
No. I just need you to record a few lines,
No.
and then once the lines are recorded, maybe
Shit
you'll stumble
projects.
across them in a year
Not
or two.
happening. Nope.
Come on.
Nope.
Come on.
There'll be a bank robbery, and suddenly you'll hear your voice.
The president's daughter will be kidnapped, and all of a sudden they'll have audio recording, and it'll just be Dan's voice demanding ransoms.
And then you'll have bad dudes coming after you.
I don't need that kind of excitement right now. I'm good being a homebody. I get up, I check the mail, I take a nap. It's fine.
Does anyone have history with the 1996 Mortal Kombat movie?
I was always aware of it.
Yes, I was always aware of it. I remember renting it. After sitting and watching this, I don't think I watched the entire movie after renting it. Because there's a lot of shit in here that I don't remember.
It's because there's so much majesty in this movie that there's no way you could possibly remember all of it.
My dad worked on arcade cabinets professionally back in the 90s. So I remember him telling me when this game came out and how cool it was, and how when you finished fighting somebody, you tore their spine out and things like that, like all this cool stuff. And it's like, whoa, what? But of course I was too young to be able to see it, so he just told me about it and told me not to tell my mom. But then of course the movie came out, and it's just like, oh, there's that thing my dad was telling me about. And I just never got around to seeing the movie.
Movie's fun.
I'm going to save my comments, but I fell hard for this movie. I really, really, really enjoyed it. I hate Paul W.S. Anderson, but I loved this movie.
It's entertaining. It's mindless.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to get, like, invested in it.
It's such a good movie.
No, exactly. I walked in thinking, like, I just want to see Mortal Kombat on screen, and sure as shit, that's what I got to see, and it was incredible.
Which is what this movie makes me excited for the movie that's coming out in, like, I don't even know, 2 weeks? I gotta look.
We're getting ahead of ourselves here.
Yeah. Ken.
I know I've seen the movie. I have watched this movie so many times because I thoroughly enjoy it. It's one of those movies that I put in the category of it's not a good movie, but it's a fun movie.
Guys, it comes out next week.
And so yeah.
Are you okay?
Joe, my ears.
Sorry.
So
I got excited.
So this comes next week already?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
I don't know.
Is it gonna be all right over there?
Oh, we finally get some new movies in this movie drought. I sat down to watch Godzilla vs. King Kong, but ended up watching Barb and Star instead and laughed my ass off.
But guys, we're not even through the 80s and 90s.
I know, but this is a movie that is a sequel or a reboot of an 80s or 90s movie.
I believe it is technically a reboot.
Indeed.
But closer to actual, Mortal Kombat canon instead of just using the characters and likenesses of characters
and doing
whatever the fuck they want with it.
This is important. I watched this movie. I enjoyed this movie. I love this movie, as I said already. I swear in the past I've also watched Mortal Kombat Annihilation, and after watching this movie, I was like, let's throw on Mortal Kombat Annihilation. And the first thing that bothered me was having not Christopher Lambert.
Which, again, I'm going to say pissed me off. If you guys remember our Highlander review, I went 5 full minutes thinking, oh man, Tom Jane's in this movie. And then I realized it was Christopher Lambert. I was so pissed. I don't know why I confused the two, but they look so damn similar.
They really do.
I was really excited.
I stared at him for a good 10 minutes going, what the hell is wrong with his voice? Why is he doing that? Talk like a normal person.
Why is he not Chinese?
Exactly.
Hey, I don't have an answer to that. So, really enjoy this movie. Highly recommend it for everyone. Hooray!
Like I said, it is a good, mindless action flick. That is the epitome of this movie. Or not the epitome, the highest rating I can give this movie. If you're a Mortal Kombat, purist or interested in Mortal Kombat canon, then we may have some problems.
Yeah, I understand that there may not be proper canon in here. I always thought that Kitana was a bad person in the game. Mind you, I haven't played a lot of...
She's from the Outlands, and she's really fucking old.
Yeah, they keep telling us
Isn't she the one with the fucked up face?
No, she has a fan.
Yeah, Katana uses the big metal fans.
I bet I get her confused with the one with the one who wears a veil and has the predator face.
Sure. In the video games, all they did was change colors a lot of the time.
In the old one, yeah. Oh, it's not Mira, it's Mir something.
And she does show up in Annihilation, actually, I think, as Katana's mother. Was she in this one?
No.
I don't remember.
No.
I'm going to get confused. I'm sorry. No. Okay.
So when this movie came out, I had been a Street Fighter 2 kind of person for fighting games, and then all the other fighting games started rolling out, like Primal, Rage, and that sucked.
Killer Instinct.
And then Clay Fighter, and that was interesting looking, but controlled like garbage.
Oh, Clay Fighter.
And then Mortal Kombat. And Mortal Kombat was interesting because they used, live people in it. But that's also what sucked about it, because the technology wasn't exactly there to make it good. And I'll say that's probably part of the reason why I skipped out on the movie, was because, yeah, they wanted to do some cool things, but the technology that they had available to them wasn't quite there yet. But I don't know. I skipped it back then because it didn't look interesting. I really wasn't a fan of the game. So this is my first time, I believe, actually paying attention to it while it was on. I think it was filler in the background during, high school or something once, maybe twice. I don't know.
Yeah, sounds about right.
So it's a movie that everyone I knew. It's a movie that everyone I knew about and was like avid fans of, but I just never watched it myself. It was one of those weird cultural pieces that I felt like was missing out of my youth. Like everybody was avid Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat fans, and I just didn't take the time on either one of them.
I've never been a big fan of fighting games.
Same here. It's just button mashing to me. I know it's an art form for other people, but just never has been my jam.
I will gladly enjoy watching somebody play fighting games because I don't have the button coordination to handle any of that.
Correct. Nor the mental capacity to react with the proper response to what they're doing. It ends up just being a giant button mashing, and that's it's not so fun.
It's fun when you button mash and the other person's actually trying to do stuff, and you keep subverting them actually doing stuff by mashing your buttons.
Yep, it's good shit.
That's the only time fighting games are fun, in my opinion.
Where you can play fighting games with a bunch of your friends when you're drunk for like 10-15 minutes before the rage sets in.
See, and I had friends who'd sit and play fighting games for hours upon hours. They would just sit and have matches for hours. And it's just kind of like you're the guy sitting off to the side like, okay. I just don't get it.
In order to be any sort of good at those kind of games, that's what you have to do. Much like real martial arts, you have to practice. You have to put in the work in order to be good at it.
I mean, you're not just born with mystical powers and able to flip and somersault around?
I mean, I'm sure somebody came punching and kicking out of the womb, but
I'm looking at Pettigrew.
What? Why?
If anyone has some secret hidden powers, it's you.
The only hidden power is that my pancreas doesn't work.
I feel like that's a cover-up. That's to take the focus off what your true powers and capable or what you're capable of doing. Like,
It's your glasses.
If I had powers like that, I would not have worked at the same job for as long as I did before quitting.
Sure, Clark.
So,
If you haven't seen this movie, here's a quick summation of what happens in the movie. Some old dude from what's called the Outworld, we'll call it hell for a lack of time, is coming to collect fighters from the Earth realm to battle to see who gets control of the other's territory. And this time, it's the, 10th time? And this one is for all the beans. And if the Earth loses, the Outworld gets control of the Earth world. So the humans have to fight whatever is from the Outworld and win to make sure that they maintain control of Earth. Sounds really dumb.
I mean, yeah, you have to work on real dumb when the only premise you have is fight. And it's a solid premise, but
Where were the babalities and stuff like that? Come on.
that was Mortal Kombat 2 or 3. I mean, that didn't come till later. I'm
Katana
sorry,
wasn't
Joe.
from the first one. I thought she was
yeah,
from the
they
second
didn't have
one.
babalities in the first one. They didn't. It wasn't a thing. They hadn't.
Where was that guy that pops in screen and goes, whoopsie?
They hadn't hypersexualized the already sexualized characters yet.
They're so short-sighted with that.
Okay, so we can continue on then.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, things we liked. The premise of this movie is thin.
So thin that they have to shout taglines all throughout the movie to remind you what you're watching.
sorry guys, I had a little bit of headphone trouble. Were you guys talking about hypersexualizing Goro?
Sure.
Yes.
Oh God,
The meaty hands. Ooh.
the long torso. Yeah, yeah. I'll save my comments about that for the things I didn't like. But yeah, because there is one character out of all of them that I just could not stand and thought the acting was atrocious. Overall, I was really expecting a train wreck from the acting sense, but it wasn't honestly that bad.
It teetered.
Yeah, there was some teetering, but it held up. I was surprised. I was pleasantly surprised.
And you get a good, solid performance from the main four people, I guess.
You get a solid performance from the good guys and a shitty performance from the bad guys.
Yes, for sure.
It's not like the bad guys had personalities or anything.
Yeah, it's pretty much the stereotypical cardboard cutout bad guys.
The only bad guy that could have had any kind of personality got killed by thighs.
True. But no, like I don't know. I was very surprised by it. Liu Kang, Robin Shu, I loved his acting. He was great.
Yeah.
And Christopher Lambert. I mean, say what you will, but we got a performance by Christopher Lambert.
It was.
I always feel like he's putting forward a bad acting job, but at the same time, I believe him.
Yeah.
So it can't be bad. There's just something about his acting style that's weird to me, but
Yeah.
it's fine. He does a good job. Not Johnny Cage.
Johnny Cage.
Was also
I'll reserve my comments for Johnny Cage.
pretty good.
The actor who played Johnny Cage played Johnny Cage.
I will give you that.
Sexist, racist,
Absolutely.
kung fu fighting asshole. That is Johnny Cage.
Is that what? Are there character descriptions in the Mortal Kombat video game?
Not in the first one, but if you look at the Wikipedia page, there's a whole bunch of lore about Mr. Cage
Right. Yeah.
and his acting career.
Some might say that lore came from him being a sexist, racist person in this game or movie.
Whatever. Cart before the horse.
Yeah. Sets. I thoroughly enjoyed the sets. I thoroughly enjoyed the designs. There's some questionable
How
matte
about them matte
paintings.
paintings?
Yep, exactly. But honestly, like when the clouds were moving too fast, initially I was like, oh, that looks like shit. But then I realized, that is very reminiscent of 1990s video games where, the 3D rendered foreground is what you have your eyes affixed to, but then there's like crazy clouds and shit moving on the top. Like there's so many arcade games that it immediately brought me back to thinking about the fact that there's this ridiculous skyboxes that obviously wouldn't pass today's set, but it emulated the video game well. And I think that's where I'm going to give a lot of passes to this movie is it was like I was watching Mortal Kombat. It legitimately felt like watching the video game if you don't try to actually care too much about the plot, care too much about the acting, care too much about the effects. It felt like I was watching Mortal Kombat.
I will disagree with you,
Yeah, I mean, if that's
but I'll hold on to
I
that.
figured. I figured there'd be something from someone at least. But from a fresh set of eyes that's never seen this movie in my entire life, I was surprised at how much I enjoyed it.
I'll say the movie would have been worse if they had a bigger budget, in my opinion.
I agree.
I feel like if they had a bigger budget to be able to get away with more, it would have been way worse.
I mean, look at the budget that he got for Resident Evil, and look at the steaming pile that was.
What?
I hate Resident Evil. Resident Evil 2 was okay because it was more like the games, but Resident Evil 1, no.
How
no.
dare you, sir?
All right, hold on. We're stopping right here for a minute. You son of a bitch.
The Resident Evil 2 had stars, and it had Nemesis. It was just like the games.
Yeah, it all sucked, too. The first one had Germans setting themselves on fire. It was awesome.
Fair enough.
Was that the one with Michelle Rodriguez?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I have a weird love for the first one, and I hate all the other.
Oh, gotcha.
Resident Evil
See, I hate all the others, but I like the second. Because the second for me was more like, oh man, it's finally the game. And then the motorcycle comes through the window, and I'm like, oh my god, it's Claire. It's not. It's Alice. Yay. But one had the cube room, too, with the lasers.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so good.
I can't fully hate that film because there was a lot of stuff I liked in it. It's just going into the theater after being a huge diehard Resident Evil fan and seeing what they did to it, it's just kind of like,
You goddamn purist.
I know, I know.
Now, I really love the first Resident Evil, even though I was in the theater that played the black and white trailer for the Romero version of the movie. I don't know how they got a trailer for it, but I saw a black and white Resident Evil teaser trailer in the theater, and I lost my goddamn mind. And it turned into Paul W.S. Anderson, which wasn't as good as what a Romero version would have been, but
It
whatever.
would have been pretty sweet to get a Romero version.
We're not talking about that video game. We're talking about whatever, Mortal Kombat.
I mean, it's hard not to get sidetracked, especially considering the director. I mean, he's made some pretty terrible video game adaptions, but then
Yeah.
there's been a couple of gems in the rough. Like, I'm talking like bad end of the scale for me is what was it, Alone in the Dark?
Oh,
Not Alone in the
God,
Dark,
yeah.
Was it Alone in the Dark?
That wasn't him.
Wait,
though.
he didn't?
Oh wait, no, that was
No, that
U-Bowl.
was the German
U-Bowl.
guy.
No, you're right. You're
U-Bowl.
yeah. Oh man,
That's what I was going to say, is that no one has made a video game movie as shitty as U-Bowl has made video game movies.
that is absolutely true. Because didn't he also make Blood Rain 1 and
Yeah,
2?
Yes,
Yeah.
he did.
Yeah.
Oh, God, yes, he did.
Okay,
House of the Dead.
So I take it back. Paul W.S. Anderson. Mortal Kombat, Resident Evil,
It's fine.
Monster Hunter, which looked like crap, but whatever. I don't know. I can't 100% say. He did do the Dead or Alive movie, the straight to like DVD piece of crap though too. So I've got comments. I got comments on his quality.
Are we out of things that we like? I feel like we might be.
I don't know. I like the aesthetics. I like the design. The boat, the creepy boat. I really enjoyed that. It was a good looking boat.
Awful set.
the remix song for the movie that contains the video game sound effects.
Very good.
Yeah. How about the video game soundtracks from Sub-Zero and Scorpion throughout? Huh? I thoroughly enjoyed Scorpion shouting things like "Get over here" and "Get down here."
Oh, right. Which was Sub-Zero was voiced by one of the co-creators of Mortal Kombat in this movie.
Didn't Scorpion only say "get over here" and that's it? And they started adding in other statements in the movie.
Yup, I feel like that's what happened. I feel like they modified it to fit the scenes he was in. Get down here, like just whatever they could change it to.
Walk that dog!
Oh.
Whoa.
Pick up after yourself! I do not remember these in the video game. What's going on?
It's because we didn't actually play the video game very often, Joe. The Scorpion Get Over Here was definitely in the game, though.
I did get a chuckle in the beginning, and I had to look into it when Cage fights off the attackers, and then it turns out to just be the movie set, and he's walking away, the director. I was like, that looks like Steve. No, it's not Steven Spielberg, but it looks like him. So I did take a look into it, and sure enough, Spielberg was a huge fan of Mortal Kombat, I guess, in the 90s. So he actually did want to be in the movie for that scene, but due to scheduling conflicts, he couldn't make it, so they did make that director look like Steven Spielberg, which is why it looked so uncanny to me.
It's not quite a cameo.
So I got a chuckle out of that. Exactly, not quite cameo.
Another not quite cameo is in the middle of the movie when the bad guy says, all right, we're done letting these humans win. Let's kick their butts. And then the bad guys start winning. And when you see people hit the ground, in between all their extras that are just hitting the ground, there is a guy that looks pretty spot on for Ryu from Street Fighter.
Really?
I thought you were going to say another almost cameo was going to be Tom Jane.
That sounds like the kind of shade this kind of movie would throw. Be like, hey, look, we got ourselves a movie. Remember your Street Fighter movie? When did the Street Fighter
That
movie
is
come
true.
out? Like, we're kicking your butt with this movie.
Which, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like this movie got not much higher or like significantly higher, but higher reviews at least than Street Fighter.
It got a lot less Jean-Claude Van Damme in that one.
That is true.
Yeah, 94.
Because I feel like
I
Street
thought it
Fighter
was 95, but whatever.
No, 94, because I believe, what's his name? I always forget how to pronounce his name. It's going to drive me crazy.
Raul Julia?
Yeah, Raul Julia passed away in 94 or 95, one of the 2 years.
Yeah.
It was right there. This was his last movie.
He did so in great pain because he thought he'd make a movie that his kids would enjoy
Yep,
watching.
he literally did it for his kids.
Which is amazing,
Well,
unfortunately.
it's the same thing like Harry Potter. Like, the guy who originally played Dumbledore, he only took it up because his grandkids begged him to do it. Even though he knew he was dying from whatever cancer he had, he still did the role.
Gambon?
Michael Gambon?
Gambon?
Yeah, Gambon's the one who took over for the original actor.
Okay.
Dumbledore for original was only in the first 2 movies. Richard Harris.
That's it, Richard Harris. He's the one
He's
who
a great
gets-
Dumbledore. It's just he had cancer, and he didn't make it past the second filming. And then we get Michael Gambon, who shouts all his lines, never read the source material, and yeah.
Maybe we can
Good
get a
stuff.
Snyder cut. Snyder cut all 8 Harry Potters. Or 6 Harry Potters.
They better do it before most of the cast pass away.
They're already not kids. They're not going to be able to go back and do reshoots.
They'll just use technology.
We can deep fake it.
Yeah, deep fake
everything. There we go.
it. Deep fake it, yeah. Get Disney in on it. They've been doing it a bunch now.
Disney would probably do it for partial control of the parks.
It sounds like we've been scraping the bottom of the bucket here.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not a lot.
Thailand.
Oh, yeah. The location that they fight in is just gorgeous. I love looking at that location and just think about how wonderfully they used their all the little locations that they could, and then they throw everything underground. And anyway, fun enough. They made some huts on those islands because the only way they could get to those islands was through boats, paddle boats, even like tiny boats. And so they made some on-site living quarters for
So
the
you're
crew.
saying that they didn't take a page out of Beastmaster's books and put huts onto crazy stilts so they collapse in the wind?
I mean, they probably should have, except for they didn't actually talk at all about how they did things. Oh, well.
So let's go down the path of what you didn't like about this movie.
CGI.
It's definitely dated,
It's
yeah.
there's the CGI in like Reptile and Scorpion's chain that's just bad. I can't say it's worse than something. It's just bad. That's what it is.
I remember back in the day when it came out that I saw that and was like, it's terrible CG. They shouldn't have done that.
Correct.
But then we get some special effects like Goro.
And Goro looks great.
Yeah.
I liked Goro.
Does he, though?
I thought Goro looked fine. Unless I missed something that you guys saw. What'd you guys see?
I couldn't tell if he was like a puppet being worn by a large actor or if he was CG. That was my problem.
He's a puppet.
I guess I assumed that he was a puppet because
Yeah.
he looked puppetish to me. He had that weird sheen that they put on puppets in those days. And it works fine for a dinosaur in Jurassic Park, but it doesn't work well for Goro 4 years later.
At the end of the film, at the end of the credits, there's at least like 16 puppeteers for him.
That's insane.
It's a lot of puppeteers.
That's impressive. I can't lie about that. That's super impressive.
And that's something that I sat and thought about through the movie. I just was like, how did they pull this off? I mean, it was distracting from the movie, but there was nothing really to pay attention to until fights happened, to be honest. Talking wasn't important in this film.
What about the overall arching amazing plot that they had?
No.
No, no, just no.
Liu Kang's brother died, man.
Canonically, who?
It's his fault, or is it his fault? I don't know.
And somehow Sonya is front and center in the film for no good reason other than to lure teenage boys in.
Yeah, she kind of just hopped on the ship and hey, now she's in the film too. Like, oh hey guys, I'm here as well.
Yeah, they made a reference to Jax, but he didn't have his robot arms.
Nope.
No, he wasn't in this movie. That was a different
Jax
guy.
is in the first
Jax is
one.
in the
He
second
gets
movie. And he's got
less
his
than
robot
30
arms.
seconds.
Jax was in the first one.
Is his Is he the black guy, the only black guy they put in this movie?
There are two black guys. Jax gets left behind. The other black guy gets killed by Goro. And I don't even know who that guy is.
He has his metal arms in the second movie, if it makes you feel better, which it should.
No, the movie's awful and nothing can ever redeem it.
What? I thought we were saying we like Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat, yes. Annihilation, no.
Damn it, Dan. Oh, yeah, Annihilation is problematic.
The set that the boat was definitely a set covered in fog the entire time.
It looked so good.
Oh, but it was so bad.
That boat was amazing.
So nice.
And then it was like partially CG. And then they definitely had it masking when they reached the island. They had the CG boat masking the dragon boats and whatever the dragon boats came off of. And I can't bring words. It just makes me angry.
If you need to feel better, you can think about Lou's feathery mullet.
Yeah, he's got good hair. I should have brought that up in the... It was good 90s hair. Yeah, it should have been in the likes.
In the likes? It's weird to me. Like, it's super full on top, and then it kind of gets wispy and thin near the bottom, so it just kind of looks goofy to me. What do I know? I'm not a cosmetologist.
Probably had extensions in there.
It very well could have also been a wig.
What?
Well, even Sonya had a wig at the end because somebody had to redo her hair when they got to the Outlands.
That could have been her hair.
Could have, maybe.
She had enough hair to poof it out like that. But it's like, what was the point of that? To make her like a Amazonian style?
Sexualization of a character that didn't need to be sexualized.
I feel like that's what they're going for. I felt like things were okay up until that point. It's just kind of like that was jumping over the pier.
And why no shoes?
I don't know. Shoes.
Anyway, I just thought it was a wild direction that they took her in at the end for I don't know what reason.
Yeah, I agree.
There's a girl in the game, or there's a girl in the movie, and there's going to be horny boys watching the movie. That's you called it. You hit the nail on the head.
Gotta keep them horned up.
Fluff her up a bit.
Are you saying they asked for direction from Quentin Tarantino?
Apparently.
And along with that, why did the people have to couple up at the end of the movie? This was a fighting movie.
Well, originally, Liu Kang...
No one cares about relationships.
Well, that's just it. Apparently, Liu Kang was originally supposed to couple up with Katana, but they cut it from the movie because they felt that there's so much action they didn't need more romance. And he's quoted saying, I was really looking forward to it, so he had a crush on her. I don't know, but sucks for him. Joe, you'll be happy to know that I found the full list of quotes from Scorpion from this film.
Oh, boy.
We've got, get over here.
Yeah.
Come here. Welcome.
Oh.
And get down here. I think welcome was the most jarring for me.
Yeah, I think it was welcome because I just was like, what?
Yeah, that was the most jarring one. Like, get over here. I heard that. I'm like, hey, video game. Heard come here. And I'm like, okay, it's just a variant. Welcome. It's like, what? What?
Wipe your feet before entering.
Snacks on the counter.
Suddenly very uncomfortable.
Snacks on the counter.
Snacks on the counter.
Like
Yep. I guess the negative for me is, okay, so I will say firsthand, I don't know enough about Mortal Kombat, and maybe that's why I enjoyed this movie so much. But I honestly felt like Sub-Zero was horribly underutilized.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, oh, freeze one guy, get into a fight scene, die. And that was pretty much his extent in here. Like Scorpion got more screen time. And then I don't know enough about the video games, but are they just mind-controlled drones of a bad guy? Or are they actually like their own fighters, their own people or something?
Yes.
Like, can anyone clear that up for me?
The longer the series goes on, the more depth the original characters have. So if you're going based off of, from what I know of the first game's canon, Sub-Zero, Scorpion, and Reptile are just, like, lieutenants for Shao Kahn. Shao Kahn?
Okay.
Is that his name?
I don't remember Shao Kahn being a playable character.
That was a later
In later
game.
games he was. Along with the Emperor.
They yelled at that Emperor at the end.
Shao Kahn. There we go. Not Kang. Kahn.
Khan!
Not to be confused with Shaka Khan.
Damn you, Ken.
You have to say that in return. It's mandatory.
It is.
Can we talk about the bowling pin sound effect in one of the fight scenes.
Oh, I didn't
Yep.
pick that
Yeah,
up.
when was this?
It was during the fight scene with Cage and Sonya and Liu Kang in the dining area with Kano and Goro and Shao Kahn.
Oh, so pretty early on.
Yeah, it was pretty early on. I think Liu Kang does this like jumping split kick and kicks two grunt guys down a set of stairs, and there are bowling pins falling the entire time that they fall. It's awful. Like, Katie was still awake at that point, and she's just like, "Did they just?" And I'm like, "Yeah, those are bowling pins. Yep, they did. They did it."
Around that point in the movie, the thing that upset me the most was everyone came in, they sat down at their table for dinner, and before anyone could eat, all the grunts came in and flipped over everyone's table.
Oh, that pissed me
They
off.
wasted all
Yep.
that food.
Yes, that pissed me off something fierce. I'm like, wow, they're actually being hospitable. And they actually have all this delicious food laid out, this nice spread for their guests. And then they just come in and flip it all over. So, that's not how you entertain.
They're not here to entertain. They're here to take over.
It's like, hey, we have this wonderful feast to get you all ready for this death fest. Fuck it, we're just gonna get started right now. Go kill that guy in front of everyone. This is what you have to look forward to. It's like, oh, okay, all the food's gone. Everybody's, screwed over the second they get on the island just to watch somebody get murdered in front of them. Everyone go to your rooms and get ready for tomorrow. It's really all it was.
So, since we're talking about everyone being on the island, Johnny Cage gets a personal invitation from who he thinks is his manager, but ends up being, what's his name?
Shao
in
Kahn.
disguise. Why is Shao Kahn looking for the greatest of humanity to fight against his, did he go after him because he assumed that the tabloids are right, that Johnny Cage doesn't know how to fight?
It's never explained.
I don't know.
It's never explained.
I don't know.
So much in this movie happens, and nothing ever makes sense, and it's never explained.
Much like Johnny Cage showing up for a fighting tournament and wearing a nice dress shirt and dress pants the whole time.
Yeah.
Why aren't you dressing for a tournament?
He's got stretchy pants on.
On fight day, why did he wander into the forest? What is he doing?
I was confused about that. I thought maybe it was a sanctioned fight in a different area of the world.
Nope. It was just a scene to get Scorpion to try to kill somebody, because that's what Scorpion does.
Why did Sonya scream so loud and so empathetically over someone she never met and that died in a fight in front of her?
Yeah.
Because
Why?
Because she was facing her own
So
mortality.
much of this movie is never explained.
Yeah, but it's still fun.
And at the end, did Sung Shen turn into a gray before dying? Did I see that right? Was he an alien the
No,
whole
it
time?
was just poor special effects. He was supposed to, dissolve into a skeleton.
Wrong answer, Dan. He was an alien.
Okay.
I will not accept anything
But
less.
also, when he shows up to Liu Kang's dream right at the beginning, he turns into some weird ash monster. He just has this way of shapeshifting. He's a real Loki in his own way.
I'm going to stick with he's a gray.
Okay.
And Mulder didn't find him in time.
Balder?
Mulder.
Oh, Mulder. Got it.
Yes.
You're doing one of those things. X-Files. I've not watched that show.
Another question for this movie. What is wrong with Sub-Zero's hips that he has to wiggle when he walks down the stairs?
I don't know. Why does he go into that, I'm gonna poop on the floor stance the entire time?
It is a fighting style.
Is it?
Exactly. That makes total sense.
Debatable.
I think that's Joe's sarcasm right there. No, it doesn't really make sense. And this is fine. Does it have to make sense? No, it's a Mortal Kombat.
Is there a difference between Outlanders and people from Earth? Because most of them, I didn't see a difference.
Outlanders? Like the new video game that just came out? No, that's Outriders.
Outlanders? That steamy time travel show?
That's it.
Oh no, that's Outlander.
Oh.
Yeah, according to Katana, the Outlanders were much like people of the Earth realm until the Emperor and Shao Kahn took over and turned everything to, totally not hell.
So Goro's not a natural thing from the Outlands. He's extracurricular.
That's one way to describe them. Extracurricular. I like that.
Yeah, that's for sure. This movie leaves you with just a ton of questions of why is this happening? Why is that happening?
And then you have to, start researching, Mortal Kombat lore. And that's just
No, thank you.
it's a rabbit hole. And More power to you, but like I started looking at stuff and it's like, this is
Amazing.
too much, and I gotta back away. I'm good.
The last things in the category of what I didn't like about this movie happened during the end credits, so whatever. There's a Nine Inch Nails knockoff song at the end, which rubbed me the wrong way. And then at the very end of the credits, they do another Mortal Kombat remix song, but this time with sounds and lines from the movie. And it's far worse than the video game remix song.
Yeah, I just like the version where they say the names in the background subtly.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's so good. It took me so long to understand that was even back there, possibly due to only hearing that song and either ear bleeding sounds and having my head rattled, or just being quiet and me ignoring it. Either way, it still gets you pumped up for a good old battle.
So hearing that, has anyone's opinion of this movie changed over time?
No.
No, it's exactly what I want this movie to be.
I love it.
I'll say that I thought it was going to suck back then. I'm slightly more lenient to it now. I still think it's not a good movie, but it's passable if you just need something to pass the time and don't really care about deep story or interesting things. You just want something.
I watched it 3 times for this podcast in the last 2 weeks.
It's not exactly every day, but it's close.
Nope, I really wanted to do every day. Especially after watching it the first time, you're like, shit, I really fucked up. This would have been a great everyday movie.
And then comes the question of, does this film stand up today?
Oh God! If you go in this movie expecting something great, you got another thing coming. You have to go into this movie with an open mind. Understand that what you're looking at is certainly a thing of its time.
Not canonically true.
Oh no, I don't even care about canonically because I don't know the canon, which certainly helps out the amount of which I can enjoy this game.
I'm in the same boat.
I've heard plenty of people say this thing is so far off that it's garbage and will never be good.
It's not Annihilation.
I think that's why I get so much enjoyment. I get so much enjoyment out of this film because I don't really know anything about Mortal Kombat other than it's people fighting each other and then fatalities. I don't know anything past that. So for me, this film was great.
Every now and again, I'll go through the YouTubes and watch the fatalities from all the different versions, and oh boy, do they get
Violent?
Do they get worse and worse?
I'm really excited for the new movie. Really excited.
As covered before, I grew up in a rather religious family, so the idea of playing Mortal Kombat in my house would have been just off the table no matter what. And then watching this movie would have been, no, you don't watch this movie. It's going to be a violent bloodbath. But unfortunately, they didn't make it too violent. They really PC-ified it. Like even where there was, what's his name? Sub-Zero gets stabbed with the icicle through his chest, which is amazing. It's, throw a thing of water and then it automatically coalesces into a icicle. So cool looking, but also so physics breaking. But no blood. It's just like, oh, now he's got ice in his chest and he dies. I'm curious whether or not this next movie is going to follow suit with how much more violent the games got, or if they're going to try to tame down the ultimate finisher killer moves.
Have you seen the trailer? Sub-Zero breaks Jax's arms off, like freezes them, and just yanks his arms off of his body.
I saw a headline that said that the movie has game-accurate fatalities.
Oh my god.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that was one of the biggest gripes of the 95 version is the fact that it was PG-13 and people just couldn't understand why.
Them teenage boys.
Yep.
Never meaning no harm. What?
But yeah, I think the new one that's going to be coming out as a reboot or a soft reboot, whatever it's going to be, I think it'll be interesting to check it out. I think it will be better than what the 95 version was. Or 96, I should say.
Yeah, 96. I hope they do it well. I have this this feeling in the pit of my stomach that they're going to try too hard. Like, clearly this movie didn't try very hard, and that's fine. Because you get a fighting movie, and it does what it sets out to do.
Well, the new one's got game producers in it.
Oh my god. Okay, so I just finished watching the trailer, and yeah, this looks intensely more violent than the
Right?
He freezes Jax's arms and shatters them. He screams out in pain. There's a scene too with, like a Japanese style door, like paper door, and just the blade coming through and blood splattering across the. Oh man, this looks great.
The only thing I've seen of it was him being what's his name?
Christopher Lambert.
Yeah. Nope, Sub-Zero just making a ice knife and stabbing somebody with it.
You mean a blood knife?
That's the only thing I saw.
Blood knife.
There's a lot of Sub-Zero.
Oh yeah, blood knife. That's it, blood knife. It's because Sub-Zero's freaking amazing.
Yeah, it's a stark comparison to the one that we just watched. It's like Sub-Zero was in it for like a minute and a half. This trailer is nearly all Sub-Zero. That's awesome.
There's another one that's mostly Scorpion, and I think there's a third.
I know none of us really played the game, but did you all ever have a favorite character?
It bounced between Sub-Zero and Scorpion for me.
Same here, just because they were the cool characters. It's like, whoa, they have weird powers. I like them.
I'd delve into Reptile if I got bored.
I just remember Sub-Zero off the top.
And again, I always wanted to like those characters a lot more than I could, because I could never figure out the moves to be like, get over here. And then if I did, they would just get over there and kick my butt over there then. Where's the fun in that? And then you just mash buttons. So I usually played with Goro thinking that more arms mean more better, but turns out, nope.
Yeah, I could never remember fatalities, so the game was never really
violent.
That's
all that great.
That's been my problem with every fighting game. It's like I can button mash and keep up, but I can't do the cool things, so it's like I just don't care to play.
That's why I like playing Super Smash Brothers, because you don't have to worry about any of that bullshit.
When there's like a 15-button sequence you have to push within 2 seconds and you have to hit it accurately, that's just not going to happen for me, which is really unfortunate.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Ken.
That's fine. You guys remember how Goro died? That was amazing.
He fell.
They threw him off a cliff.
Fell off a
Did
cliff.
he fall? Did he fall, or did he just kind of like float sideways away?
I mean, I guess, yeah.
Do you guys remember Johnny dropping all of his suitcases
Luggage?
down the stairs? And as the camera panned out, the stairs got smaller and the suitcases got bigger.
I wrote down in my notes that the green screen work, to me, I don't consider it bad. I consider it charming. Because it reminds me of the days of like The Seventh Guest, where they're trying so hard to mix things, and it's not quite there yet.
I don't know The Seventh Guest.
I never beat it.
Oh, video game. Got it.
Yeah, it was a video game.
Neato.
Anyway, that was us button mashing until we got to the end of the movie Mortal Kombat and not getting the finishing move. If you could please like, rate, review, comment, subscribe, and all that garbage so that we could maybe spread the good nostalgia news of our podcast to others, that would be much appreciated.
Is it going to bring fans, Joe? Are they going to get over here from us doing that?
Oh.
Yeah! Yes.
I feel like throwing up. I'm sorry.
You shouldn't. That was amazing.
That's the one that makes
so
you feel
sorry.
sick? Of all the
Yes.
things that you've said, that's the one.
I feel ill.
I appreciated it. Don't let anyone else tell you
I did
otherwise.
too. So come back next time when we will be covering, we'll be even going back to continue our coverage of the Naked Gun series. We'll be finishing off the Naked Gun series, and next time we'll be covering the Naked Gun 2.5.
Hooray!
So come back in 2 weeks when we rewind.
I don't appreciate you saying we didn't finish. Like, I feel like you said that we didn't finish talking about this movie, and
What?
I don't know what else to say about it. You said we didn't finish them.
Oh, we didn't get the fatality.
No, we didn't get the fatality,
we didn't
right?
get the
Which means
flawless.
there's still something left. It really feels like we bumbled
We
this
didn't-
one,
We didn't
guys.
get the flawless victory. Oh.
Flawless victory.